All right, what's up, you guys? Todd Falcone. So recently, I had an opportunity to sit down with Kelly Calabrese, who's a very successful network marketing distributor who, in the last 7 years or so, has personally recruited over 800 people. 800 people that she's personally recruited into her network marketing business. Just in 2016, she's recruited over 100 people. And I featured her in one of my Fearless Networker spotlights. So if you're watching this video on my blog, I'm gonna make sure I give you access to that so you can read the short interview. But I sat down with her the other day and picked her brain for an hour. It's one of the things I do for my Fearless Academy. I sit down with very successful people and we have very extensive conversations on exactly how these people are doing what they're doing in network marketing. And I really wanted to find out, what she's done to be successful and to have recruited so many people in this business. And you definitely want to hear the full interview because you're going to hear exactly how she's gone about becoming so successful in network marketing over the past 7-8 years and having recruited that many people. But a few things that just to note. Number one, and this should go without saying, but I'm going to say it. I mean, the only way you're going to recruit 800 people is you have to dedicate focused time to prospecting and recruiting. So one thing for sure about her from day one all the way up until today, even as successful as she is still reserving time every single week specifically to talk about her products and her business and to expose new people. And so she's creating situations for herself where she's always able to meet new individuals, create new friendships, create new relationships. And the one thing that I got from this interview, and it's no surprise to me why she's as successful as she is at recruiting people into her business, is because she turns the focus from herself to them and shares her story, shares what she does, and offers the idea of, hey, if you ever be interested in learning how to do this or get better at this or have this, I'd be honored to show you exactly how to do that because that's what I specialize in. And the way she verbalizes it is really powerful. I'll probably put some of that in the actual written part of my blog post, but it's fascinating what she does, and there's no question why she's recruiting so many people. So it's a matter of making sure that you're reserving time, that you're setting time aside. And for those of you that are growing a larger organization, it can be really easy to slip into, and I did a video about this a few weeks ago, it's to slip into just managing the organization, which is what I call the kiss of death in network marketing, because it's really not a position that, it's just a bad position to be in. Number two, and this is something that came out of this interview, is she is an absolute beast when it comes to follow-up. So never dropping the ball, always getting back to people in a timely manner. And that is something that you have to understand people respect. If you were to go out and initiate a conversation with someone about what your business or your product and then fail to get back to that person, you're very, very unlikely, in fact, I would say virtually impossible, to actually end up enrolling that person onto your product or your business because they're going to immediately lose respect for you. So she's super tight on her follow-up and making absolutely sure that she's getting back to her people in a timely manner. And then one of the things we talked about as far as team building is she described it as combing her tree, combing her organization. I call it looking for pockets of activity, where daily she's looking at the organization that she has and looking for people who are in positions where maybe they've got some volume, but if they only put a couple people over here, they'd end up earning a check. And the reality is a lot of people in your organization may not even know that they're missing out on money. In fact, I've picked up the phone, called people, and all they had to do is enroll one person and it released a $600 check. In fact, one time I got a phone call because this years ago, I had a guy call me up. He goes, hey, he goes, do you know, because at the time I wasn't building this business, I was a customer in this business. This guy calls me up and he said, hey, do you realize you got like 600 people in your organization? I was like, no, I've pretty much been using this as a customer only. He goes, yeah, are you getting a check? I said, no, I'm not getting a check at all. He said, dude, listen, you need to go put 2 customers into the business right away, like today. And I think it was like the 28th of the month and I was getting ready to go on some trip or something. He said, look, you got to do it before the end of the month. Well, I ended up putting 2 people into that business as customers before the end of the month, and the company clipped me out a check. I remember the exact check. It was $452.70. And I was just missing out on the money because I wasn't aware, because I never really looked at the compensation plan. In this case, at that time, I had just signed up as a customer. I was a distributor, but I was really using the product as a customer only. The check went from that to that grew the next month, grew the next month, grew the next month. I was missing out on tons of money. This guy was smart enough to look at the organization and go, hey, this guy's got a group growing. I better pick up the phone and call him and make sure that he's aware. I was unaware. So make sure, and this is something that I know that Kelly does extensively, is combing the tree, going through the organization and looking for people in the group that have volume, are doing business, but maybe they're missing out. There's one piece of the puzzle that they haven't yet put into play in terms of it, within that whatever the compensation structure is for you. You have to understand your compensation plan, of course, enough to realize that, hey, if somebody's got, let's say you're in a binary comp plan and they've got 25 people on their left and they've got one person on their right, and if they were to put just one more person on their right leg, that it would clip out a check for them. Well, they may not even realize it, so it's up to you to make sure that you're doing that. So it was a fascinating interview that I did with Kelly. It's no doubt, I understand exactly why she is as successful as she is, having recruited over 800 people. Those are staggering numbers. You really want to hear the interview. The rest of that interview is part of my Fearless Academy. I will very likely put a link to that so you can at least check it out in this blog post. Love your feedback. Stay tuned for future videos. I will see you on another one. This is Todd Falcone. Have a great day.